Hello everyone. Today we will see exception handling in Python part 1. Part 2, part 3 will be in the coming videos. We'll see one by one. Okay, first is what is an exception? Exception is an error. Error is unexpected output or behaves abnormally. What are all the types of error? Syntax error, runtime error, or a logical error. Okay. We call syntax error or a parsing error. So we have not, what is a syntax error? We have not followed the rules of the particular programming language. Okay. For example, I take this, I create a new file, I say print hello error. Okay, now I save this. I save this as a Python file. Okay, now I execute this. It says syntax error. So here I have opening double quotes and no closing double quotes. That is the issue here. So I need to close the double quotes. Now I save it. It prints. For example, if I don't close this one, then it says syntax error, never closed. So I need to close this. So basically, syntax error, we need to follow the programming rule. Now we go to the next one. Now syntactically correct, no error, but there may be error during runtime or execution. Now totally I have listed 11 type of errors in Python. Okay, we are going to see one by one here. Now first we move on to value error. Okay, now I will remove this syntax error. Now to save timing, I already prepared this. Okay, now in Python this hash symbol indicates that is a comments. Now I declare A as a 34 and B as a test. Now I want to convert float. This one is conversion function, convert A. So A is an integer. Okay, now I am trying to convert. That is not a problem because it will display 34.0, but in the second one it will get a value error. What is a value error? You are converting a string to a float or a string to a integer, which doesn't make any sense. So I am trying to convert float B. What is B? Test. So this type of error is called. Now I am going to save this, and line number 1, 6 and 9, these are comments. So Python interpreter will not take this. Now I run this. It says value error. Okay, so convert string to a float is not possible, meaningless. Okay, but I can, let's say I have an integer, I save this. It converts an integer so to a float, so 34.5. So this is a value error. Okay, now I go to the next one, IO error. What is IO error? We take the IO error is when we are trying to open a file that does not exist. So input output error. For example, in Python, I am trying to open a file in this folder, in this location. The location is this one, right? I don't have any other file other than this. So I am trying to open a file in the R. R means read mode. Now let's say I save this file. Then I say python error.py. So it says no such files. So this file not found error. This type of error is called IO error. Okay. Now I move on to the, for example, I will have another text file. I create a text file, for example. I go here and create, right, like this. I say first line, second line, third line. Okay. I save this file. Now again I go to here, I run this code. Now there is no error because in the same location I have this file. Okay. This is the second type of error, that is IO error. Now third one is a keyboard interrupt exception or error. What is this? So what is a keyboard? A keyboard interrupt is a built-in exception that occurs when a user interrupts the execution of a program using the keyboard action. For example, in Python I press Ctrl plus C. Now let's say we take this example. Okay. Now what this statement will do? Now first I will explain this. This is a try. If there is any error, the meaning of this is if there is any error in this code block, then throw the exception, keyboard interrupt. Okay. Now the while loop will execute until the condition becomes false, but I give true. That means the condition is going to be true always. So it get the input from the user, okay, name, then it will print that value. That's all. Now if I want, now what I will save this file. Okay, then I run this. It says enter. Now I say enter Python. Now it displays the Python. Again it is asking me the name because the while loop is executing here. Okay, while loop is keep on executing. Now again I type error. Again it is asking. Now I am going to press Ctrl C. Now program terminated. Okay, program terminated by, so this exception, it will come to this exception and it will print this value. Okay, now this type of error is called keyboard interrupt error. Now we move on to the import error. What is import error? This error occurs when Python interpreters are unable to import a particular name or a module within your code. What is this? Now for this we will take two file. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'll say okay, I paste this, I close this one, then I save this as a, I press Ctrl S, then I say as this parent. Okay, done. Now I want to create another file. Okay, like this. Now I keep this file as a, I save this as a child.py. Okay, now what this parent? Okay, in the child, what this is meaning, definition, this is a function. I am writing a function. In this function, just it is going to print child, it's going to print the character child. Okay, now I go to the parent.py. Now I am trying to import child from test child. Okay, now child is this one, child.py. Test child, there is no such sign because here I have a function name called test underscore child, not test child. Okay, now let's see what is happening here. Now I will execute this. I will say Python dot parent.py. Now it says import error. That is our part. Yes, we are seeing the fourth error. What is this? Cannot import test child. What it is saying is, it is now we are importing, okay, a child. It will say child.py. Yes, it is go and search for a test child, but there is no such a function. So if I want to execute, then I will say test underscore child. Okay, now I save this because I have a function with that one name only. I don't have. So now I will go on. Now there is no error. Okay, now I want to print that value here. This is one file. Remember, this is one file and this is another file. Okay, I'm importing that. Now I want to print this value. How will I print this value? For that, I just call this function test child. Okay, I say not test child. I need to say test underscore child. Okay, now I save this. I save. Now it prints the value child. Where this child is coming from? I import this, then it is printing this value here. Okay, so if there is any import related issue, then that is an import error. Now we move on to the next type of error, EOF, end of file error. Okay, what is this end of file error? So EOF is raised when one of the built-in function input or a raw input hits an end of file without reading the data. So for example, I copy this file, I open the error. Okay, I save this file. Now I say error.py. So it is trying to read the fine first line, then because this one is I am opening the file in the read mode. Okay, now condition is true always. Now I am reading this file endlessly. So if you look at this file, when you go and look at this file, we have a first line, second line, third line. Then after that, it is trying to read the file, then it is getting error. So this type of error is called end of error. So once it reaches the last line, we need to terminate the program. Okay, we need to check the program and we need to terminate. This is the fifth type of error, EOF error. Now we go move on to the next type of error, zero division error. Okay, what is this zero division error? Now division by a zero. For example, I have a num value 10, num2 10. Now I am trying to divide. When you divide something by 0, num1, then it is going to be some error. Let's see what is the outcome of this. See, it gives division by 0, zero division error. Okay, we get this error. This is the, now we move on to the index error. What is this index error? Index error is index is out of range. Okay, now I am trying to copy this. I copy this, I go here, I paste here. Now in Python, this is array. Okay, in this array I have a 1 2 3. Please remember, in the array it is 0 based. So 0, 0th position, 1 second. Now I am trying to print a of 3. There is no such index. It is now what it's going to do. I clear this. Then I say index error. It says list out of range because only I can read up to 0, 1, 2. For example, I say 0. So in this case, it is going to print the value 1. For example, if I say 2, okay, then in this case, it is going to print this value. Okay. Now this is the index error. Now next one is name error. What is this name error? Name error in Python occurs when program attempt to use a variable or a function or more that is not identified or not accessible. Okay, this is simple only. Okay, this is the example. Now I get the input. Okay, then I store the input in geek y. For example, I say let's say greetings. Okay, now here what I am going to say is I say, now what is the issue in this means I have a yes missing here. So this type of error, let's say I save this one. Now I run this. I give input to, now it says name error because a greeting is not defined, because I get the input inside the variable greetings. Yes is missing here. So this type of error is called name error. Now next one is indentation error. What is this indentation error? Okay, now okay, now normally in a Python, this is a, I store the value 4 inside the variable a, right? Now I check if condition. In Python we have a colon after if. Now all the code block inside the will be one tab, indented, something like this. So all the codes, for example, I want to print here, so it will be one tab space, then we'll type our code, right? Same thing else, one tab space, something like this. This will work. Now in this case I just remove this one. Same thing here also, I remove this one. I save this. Okay, I clear this. Now I say, it says indentation error because a Python interpreter will not allow inside something like this, inside the code block, like if, while, all those things. So to avoid this error, you need to say something like this. Now here in this case, it is going to be print lesser than 5. Okay, let's see. Now I error this. It says because I give a value 4, right? Now I move on to the next type of error, type error. What is this type error? I copy this, I paste here. Now greet, I store a string good, then number is 4, then I am trying to concatenate a string and an integer. Okay, now this type of error is called type error. I save this, I run this. It says type error. Okay, you cannot concatenate the string to an integer. That's this kind of error is called. So data type should be similar, right? Now next is overflow error. What is this overflow error? Okay, now in a math you have an exponential value, right? The exponential will be like a 2 point something, right? Now I say 1000, so it's math dot exponential of 1000. In this kind of value I import math library. This is how you import a predefined libraries. Then I say this one. Now this is one is quite a huge value. So what Python is going to do for such a huge value? It says overflow error. So we can give a small value, for example exponential of 2, right? Then I say 7.3, right? This is the exponential mathematical formula, right? So the remaining part we will see in the next video. So please share this to your friends and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.